You like?
Hey everybody, Jerome Maldonado, and welcome to Wednesday's Real Talk on Real Estate. And today's topic is dear to my heart because it's exactly what we do every single day for a living. And not only is what we do every day, but we're solving problems. Today we're going to be talking about solving America's housing crisis, building affordable housing, okay? And so as you guys know, my big push on everything that I do is how to go out, buy land, and build houses. But not only are we buying land and building houses, that's our day-to-day stuff that we've done since the late 90s. What we do for our long-term holdings is we also build affordable housing. We've been working on a business model for the last 2.5 years where we deploy the capital that we make from buying land, building houses into apartment complexes instead of buying them used because they've been so inflated over the years. I sat back in 2016, bought a couple properties in 2016 and 17. And then I said, you know what, this is crazy. And here's why. I know that a lot of multifamily guys, you guys might want to dispute this and feel welcome to because you won't win. Not this argument. I've been doing this. I've tested both models and I've been doing this for 20 some plus years. And I'll tell you that the business model behind buying land and building houses and then deploying it into multifamily and building new is still the best business model in the world today in real estate. And here's why. You could go out right now and you can buy an apartment complex, okay? And I'm gonna get into this in a little bit more depth. You could buy it at a sub 5% cap rate, and then you can increase rents and even get up to a 10, 11% cap rate. Or you can exercise our business model where you buy land and build an apartment complex from scratch. And if you build right and you have the right platform that you know what you're doing, you can stabilize that with a 40% debt to income ratio from day one and have a substantially larger cap rate by 4 times, 3 times, 4 times, what you would go out there and buy. So how long would it take you to double or triple and quadruple the cap rate in today's day and age? Some people say, I don't want to take an extra year, 2 years to build, but you'll wait 3 to 5 years to get the rents up to where I get them in just less than 2 years buying land and building houses. So for me, the profitability, it trumps the fact that of going out and just buying pre-existing real estate, which we still do as well. We find the right deals, don't get me wrong, we buy them, we acquire them, we stabilize them, and we do value add and we profit from them. But because there's such an inventory crisis, and that's what we're talking about today, is the inventory crisis for affordable housing. So how do we get around that? What's going on right now? And why is it happening is the big question. And so I'll tell you that right now, in the current population, we're building 1.25 million homes per year nationwide, okay? Now, prior to 2008, to the prior 2 decades before, every year, our U.S. economy was building 1.5 million homes a year. So what happened in 2008 that made us go from 1.5 million homes a year down to 1.25 million homes a year? It's called the Great Recession. So the Great Recession, what happened is that builders got scared. All the people that were moonlighting and building stopped building, and even the big program builders decreased their inventory. And even myself, I'm guilty as charged. So ladies and gentlemen, where I was being proactively aggressive and building and in a manner where I was going head over foot, just trying to get enough land. I felt like there was a scarcity of land. It was going to run out. And as stupid as that sounds, that's the way I felt pre-2008. And then 2008 came, and it just came to a complete halt. You ever been in the front seat of a car and had to slam on your brakes and not to hit the person in front of you? And then you get jolted forward and you go back and you're scared and your heartbeat's going through the roof? That was 2008, ladies and gentlemen. You walk into Home Depot, nobody there. You go out to construction sites where there's these master plan communities of hundreds upon hundreds of homes, nobody there. Not one air hammer, not one skill saw going, nothing. It was a ghost town everywhere. I lived it. I remember walking into Home Depot one day and thinking to myself, damn, I just wish I had something to buy. Like I was in there, buying like something petty for a little tiny project that we had. And it literally went to that. And so American builders got scared, including me. And so I sat back and said, shit, I better pull my foot off the pedal. Instead of building 12 homes a year, I went down to 1. And then the second year I did 2. But I took my foot off the pedal and I went back to just my traditional construction company, just pumping out government projects and residential projects and selling projects the best I could. And then I started buying old value add projects in Phoenix in 2009. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that's what happened to, that's why right now it's a supply and demand issue, is because we haven't kept up with America's needs. So what does America need right now? So to be able to get us on track, we need right now, today, not in a year from now, not in 2 years from now, today, we need 6.8 million homes to house everybody who's looking for a home and those that have been destroyed from natural disasters or just normal aging that are distressed and people can't move into. So from natural disasters and just distress from the age of them and the current population needs, we need 6.8 million homes today. So whose job is that to build it? Ladies and gentlemen, it's our job. And you can get wealthy doing it. I'm living proof. And so how do you do that? Now, look, before we get in there, how do I know that this is going to continue? Well, I'll tell you that according to the Center of Budget and Policy Priorities, what happens is they're talking about the increased rents, okay? And they said rent has increased year over year so substantially that right now, only 7% of the countries in the world, only 7% of all countries in the world, that somebody that is working on minimum wage can afford to move into a one-bedroom home. So what happens to the other 93% of our world population? 93% of our world population that's working on minimum wage cannot afford to even live in a one-bedroom home. And so that's the reality of what's happening right now. There's not enough affordable housing for people to go out there. So I ended up just Googling this before I got up on today on camera. And I just wanted to see what today had in store. So on today's date, today's the 10th of August, 2021, New York Times front page, America's housing crisis is a choice. And as a question mark, is it? Is it a choice? Well, and the article just goes in to say, look, you could cite, so it says, the United States, you might know by now, is the throne of a housing crisis. Across the country, Americans are running out of affordable places to live. This was true even before the coronavirus swept the globe, when hundreds of thousands of Americans, if not millions, were homeless. Nearly half of the renters were cost budgeted, and close to 2/3 said that they couldn't afford to buy a home. And while some hoped last year that the pandemic would transform the nation's crisis into beacons of affordability, it's a hope that in recent months has proved short-lived. How did houses become so expensive in the United States, and how can the problem be solved? And so I just gave you guys the information on how it became so expensive and how it can be solved. Now look, according to Heather Long with the New York Times, she says rent has increased a staggering 11.4% so far since January of 2021 versus 3% pre-pandemic. So ladies and gentlemen, we are close to 4 times the increase of rent just in the last 9 months than we were pre-pandemic. And so not only do we have a housing shortage, but we have a shortage of affordable housing. Not low-income housing, affordable housing. So what does that mean? So look, follow me here. What's happening right now is the average cost per home is $350,000 for a single-family home. Well, pre-pandemic, you could get into affordable housing that you can go in and rent an apartment for somewhere between $850 a month to $1,500 a month, depending on what you were getting, and get a pretty good range of quality living in that range. So we have all this Class A real estate being built, and what's happening is the mass inflation of everything that's happening in the housing and rental market. You have to go in, rent a facility inside a brand new built apartment complex, $1,900 to $3,000 a month on average nationwide. Okay, so The average person working a minimum wage, there's not availability of rooftops right now as there is, okay? So how do you fix that? So ladies and gentlemen, what I've been talking about forever, what I've been talking about for so long, I'll tell you, is we've got to go out, and not only are you doing yourself a favor, but you're doing the American people a favor by going out and buying land and building houses. Look, there's not enough rooftops out there, there's not enough apartments out there, but guess what? There's plenty of land out there. And if you go out there and you start looking, even in rural and sub-rural communities that are outside of city limits, there's such a need for housing, people will move, and there's a market for it. You don't go out 3 miles, you don't go out 30 miles out of town, you go a few miles outside of the outskirts and you start building right around the hub of the city, in just the rural areas right behind out of the hub of the city. Or you find infill lots or old homes like we're doing out in the Seattle area, tearing them down, building dense housing and going vertical. And I've gotten pushback from even friends of mine that have said, well, Jerome, you developers are going in there and you guys are creating mass hysteria and you know, we want the trees and we want all this stuff. I say, great. If you want the trees, there's national forests everywhere, ladies and gentlemen, and you can go out and get those. But we have a housing need bigger than the internal dense building areas. We want the trees, we want the green belts, we want all that, and we're giving people that, but we want people to have a rooftop over their head as well, to be able to decrease how much homeless people are out living under bridges and how many first-time home buyers are trying to figure out where they can raise families and live because the cost of living has gotten so expensive. So here's what we're doing. You go out, and I'm telling people, start building homes, maybe not at the $350,000 range, but what happens is you can get people that are in those $350,000 homes, those $300,000 homes, to upgrade into your homes. Build homes that are in the neighborhood of about $400,000 to $600,000. If you build between $400,000 and $600,000, I promise you that people that are in older homes will upgrade into your homes, and then hence that makes availability for affordable housing in that lower sector. And you know what that does for you? It makes the housing bill profitable for you to be able to go in and make money off of. Because what's happening right now is, like, I wouldn't go out and build a $350,000 house because it's just not worth my time and my affordability. I leave that to the tract builders, D.R. Horton, Toll Brothers, all these guys that have the capabilities of building mass homes, thousands upon thousands of homes every single year that are put on the books by publicly traded builders like LGI Homes, D.R. Horton, Pulte, all these big guys, Toll Brothers, that they'll build the homes that start at $250,000 and go up to $400,000. Then you, as an individual, can make a larger profit margin while they're doing volume. You go in and you create a housing development where you just build out maybe 3, 5, 2 a year, make an extra $100,000 to $500,000 a year, building out 1 to 5 a year, and you profit. And you have homes that people in these $250,000 to $350,000 range can move out to up to, and then they can go out and create inventory for the people that need it, for first-time home buyers and people that need more affordable housing. And ladies and gentlemen, that's how you make it a win-win situation: profit and give back. And now you make this money, you make $500,000, $300,000. Now what do you do with it? I underwrote a PhD model yesterday for my inner circle of people that work with us, and to teach them how you can go out and acquire $15 million worth of assets in about 2 to 3 years if they exercise this model. Now, I'm going to give you guys just a small rendition of that and just a real kindergarten model of how that works. So, ladies and gentlemen, you take that money, you deploy it into a piece of land. You buy that piece of land, maybe through the means of owner financing, or whatever it is, or maybe you own the land, or you do a joint venture partnership with the owner or with somebody else, and you acquire a piece of land where you can build affordable housing. 16 units, 20 units, ours is 100 units minimum or more, but housing development in multifamily. Now, do you go out and build a Class A apartment complex, put in all the swimming pools, the elevators, the gyms, and all the amenities in there? You don't. We need houses, not swimming pools, ladies and gentlemen. All that stuff is great, but there's already so much of that on the market. If the market teeter-totters and it turns, ladies and gentlemen, that's the stuff that's going to get affected first. And so those people that are in that Class A apartment complex, guess what they're going to move into? They're going to move into my apartment complex that are also Class A, but we compete with Class C investors, Class C renters that are going in paying $1,000 a month for rent, that somebody working for minimum wage, $10 an hour, $11 an hour, $12 an hour, can afford. They can go in and pay $1,000 a month for rent, still afford food, a house, insurance, and a rooftop over their head that's respectful. It's brand new. And so, ladies and gentlemen, what we land up doing is we go in and we build these affordable, in a business model, we build affordable housing in an apartment complex. We strip out the pools, we strip out the elevators, we go up and build these nice cottage-style apartment complexes where they have no gyms, not a lot of landscaping, curbs and gutters, plants in medians, in those medians, but they're brand new construction, simple, nice, high quality, affordable housing. And this isn't something that's happening just in Phoenix or on the West Coast. This is a national crisis, nationwide. And not only is it a national crisis, but for those of you guys that are beaming in from Germany, that I know follow my content, for those of you guys that are beaming in from New Zealand, that also are part of our inner circle, for some of you guys that are beaming in from Canada and BC, that are beaming into our inner circle, ladies and gentlemen, it is a crisis worldwide. There is not enough affordable housing. And I've been talking about buying land, building houses, buying land religiously and advocating for it for the last several years now. And I'm sitting back telling you guys that there's no better time to buy land and build houses than right now, because America needs it. Not only you become a philanthropist by making a profit doing this. Why? Because you're going out and you're doing good for the community and doing good for your state and doing good for our nation by providing houses to people that can't afford it. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it's a major need right now. And you can get wealthy by bridging the gap and finding a solution. The only reason that most people will never get started is because they're scared to death and they never wanted to bite the bullet to do the first one. And I'm sitting back telling you guys, we have all the tools. We have an inner circle. We have all the tools. We have all the means to be able to teach you guys exactly what we've been doing for the last 26 years. And some people will never pull the trigger. But for those of you guys who do, and they're sitting back and your eyes are struck and you're sitting back trying to look for an opportunity, you're graduating high school, you're graduating college, ladies and gentlemen, there's no bigger opportunity right now than coming in and working to buy land, build houses. You can go off and learn how to do this. The first one's your hardest. I promise. The first one is going to be temperature taking because you've never done it before. It's like taking a girl out on a date for the first time. You've never done it before. You're 16 years old and you go out and watch a movie and you're nervous. You got nerves of steel. Your palms are sweaty. Your knees are weak. And you go out there and at the end of the date, if you just talk, guess what you do again? You do it again and again. And in spite of how nervous you are, how many people have ever went on a date before? And I'd like to imagine that 99% of you guys are raising your hand with a minimal amount of people, with maybe that 1 to 5% that haven't. The rest of the 95% of you guys have, and you've experienced just that. And building houses is exactly that. Buying land, building houses, yes, it's temperature taking. Are your palms going to get a little sweaty? Are there going to be moments where you have a pit in your stomach and maybe your knees get weak? Yeah, but it lasts about that long. And then the next day you sleep on it, you come up with solutions. And if you follow our business plan, all of a sudden you're sitting back and you're moving again, you're propelling. And then you get to the end of that build, put it for sale and you sell. And it's the most gratifying feeling in the entire world. And you just gave back to the cause of our affordable housing need without even knowing it. Now, that doesn't mean go out and build multi-million-dollar mansions, even though we're doing that in Puerto Rico, but we're limiting that to 2 that we're doing in Puerto Rico. And the rest of it's all affordable housing nationwide, ladies and gentlemen. We're going out and building $1 million homes in Seattle. And guess what a $1 million home is in Seattle? It's affordable housing, ladies and gentlemen. We go and build these little 1,500 square foot houses for employees that work for Microsoft. The average income in that area between all the tech industries, Google, Microsoft, and all the other tech industries that are there, they're making on average $150,000 a year. That's the median income. And the vast majority of those people are making in excess of that. And so I'll tell you guys that we're able to go into these communities and we're able to build out affordable housing and profit from it. And we're able to deploy that into multifamily. Now, here's what else is cool. And this is kind of your little golden nugget. But before I tell you this little golden nugget, if you like the information I'm giving you guys today, all I ask you guys to do is pound that thumbs up button. And for more information just like this, to be able to get updated, more information, more steps on how you become successful, buying land, building houses, and deploying it into passive income, click and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up. So ladies and gentlemen, brace yourselves here, because I'm going to give you guys a little example here of how you go out and actually do this. Okay, so how you do this, and you take advantage of two different tax benefits, two tax benefits right here. If you guys want to learn about these two tax benefits, give me a thumbs up right now, and I'll tell you guys these tax benefits. If I don't see any thumbs up, I'm not going to tell you the two tax benefits that are even sometimes more profitable than the real estate themselves. Daniel, are we getting some thumbs up going?
Going up. We got 3 thumbs up.
Okay, I'll give them to you guys. For the rest of you guys that didn't give us a thumbs up, you can just close your computer. You'll never get these tax strategies that I'm going to give you guys because they're cool. Now, before I give them to you guys, I'm just going to just give you a disclaimer. I'm no CPA, I'm no accountant, and I'm not a tax attorney. I'm not an attorney at all. But I'm going to tell you what I've learned over the course of time and in my means of real estate. So there's a lot of different aspects, and I can't give you guys a whole crash course on taxes right now, but I will tell you this. You can take your profits that come out of an LLC where you're buying land and building houses. Let's say you make $500,000. And at the same time that you're building those houses, you start working on acquiring a piece of land to go out and build a small apartment complex, 12 units, 20 units, 5 units, 100 units, whatever it is. And you deploy that capital. You can either expense that capital into that project and if you expense it, you have no tax liability or a smaller tax liability depending on how much you expense. Or you can stabilize that asset and you can take accelerated depreciation, or you can take what's called a tax bonus on that property in year 1 and pay no taxes or reduce your tax liability substantially. So how many people do you know that would love nothing more than to make $500,000 and pay either very little in taxes or no federal income taxes at all? Now, you can air this, and I'll talk about this because it's 100% legitimate. Any wealthy person that understands real estate and has a tax accountant or a tax attorney that knows this stuff will advise them in this way. So my advice to you guys is don't take my word for it. Hire a professional CPA that understands tax laws in real estate, or a tax attorney that understands tax laws in real estate, and hire them to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Now, that's only one. That's only one tip, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to give you number 2. Now, brace yourself. Pull out your notepads, and your pen, and write this down. Ladies and gentlemen, America will reward you for building affordable housing. Ladies and gentlemen, not by buying land and building houses. You're not going to get tax credits on that, okay? But you're going to make profits from that. You're going to deploy it into multifamily, build new multifamily apartment complex the way I'm talking about, stripping out all the amenities, building Class A real estate that competes with Class C. Now, some of you guys are watching going, what's Class A real estate and what's Class C? So real estate is graded exactly the way you're graded in school, ladies and gentlemen, from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade and even into college. So I know this is not French to you guys. I know that this is knowing knowledge. So if you go out and you have an A on an exam or an A+, what is that? That's the best, right? That's the best grade you can get. So in real estate, what is A+ real estate? It's the new, the greatest, the best, the greatest, and the latest. That's Class A real estate. Now, Class B is the stuff that was built like 10, 15 years ago. It's still the latest and the greatest, but it's just a grade down from that Class A that was built last year, the year before, 5 years ago. And then Class C being the stuff that was built in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and needs renovations and needs a little bit of value add, TLC, tender loving care, to make that property viable again, or make it more viable than what it already is right now. So I can go in and compete with Class C real estate, building out a Class A model, and compete and take renters from Class C real estate, or give more Class C real estate to the market that's affordable. And the county municipalities, if you do it in the right way, you don't have to fight for tax abatements. Most of the municipalities, if you search them and you understand the tax abatement rules, you can get 8-year, 12-year, 6-year tax abatements. And if you build like us, like 100-unit apartment complexes, not only do we profit from our internal rate of return and our cash on cash, which is substantial when we build these, but we'll make $6 million on tax abatement over the course of 8 years from just free property taxes for 8 years, because we're giving back to the people of America and building affordable housing. So on top, all the icing on the cake, and after all is built, even after we profit, ladies and gentlemen, for the next 8 years, we just get free property taxes that adds up to $6-8 million plus or minus, give or take, depending on what the property taxes are, for another 8 years. Ladies and gentlemen, that's just the icing on the cake. Now, understand that it's not just Jerome Maldonado that can take advantage of this. I didn't learn this by me doing it. I learned this from other people that were already doing it, and I just found the business model and I implemented it turnkey. So what are we doing in Arizona right now? For those of you guys that are watching, ladies and gentlemen, Phoenix metro area, right by Glendale, the Cardinal Stadium is within 5 to 10 minutes from where we're at. We have regional parks right around us. We have all the light rail system and public transportation right in our back door. And ladies and gentlemen, we go out and we find an old distressed office building. We tear down a little piece of it, we keep the rest of it, and we turn it into multifamily. Then when we turn it down, we build out another 60 units, new construction, have the land for almost nothing because we are able to renovate what's there in office and profit from it. Ladies and gentlemen, we get over 104 units on that property, and we create affordable housing. The city that we're working in is ecstatic with us. They love us because everybody that's in the audience, not one person in opposition. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've always been the guy, I always told my wife, I'm the guy that people love to hate when I go to city hall meetings, because I go in and I propose a development and they tear me to pieces and hate me for taking rural land and developing it. Although once it's developed, they love me to death and they benefit from it and they enjoy it. But in the interim time, I'm always the bad guy. And so for the first time in my 26-year career, we're able to go into these town hall meetings and we explain to them what we're doing. And I mean, there's people. Last Thursday, if you guys didn't see my stories, I got pulled to the back room and people were like lining up to talk to me. And it almost brings tears to my eyes. So they're like lining me up to talk to me. And they're sitting there going, okay, so how much is this going to cost? And what's it going to take? My daughter's going to need one. I'd like to have one. And my son may be moving back. And I mean, I had people at town hall meeting lining up in droves, wanting to know when they were going to be available, ladies and gentlemen. No opposition, zero opposition. All 100% of everybody at the town hall meeting embracing how they can be a part of living in our affordable housing, brand new Class A real estate, priced out to compete with Class C real estate. And we're going to get an 8-year tax abatement on top of everything that we're doing. We're going to make millions of dollars just off the tax abatement. And we have people that are lining up almost in tears to be able to be a part of what we're doing because there's such a mass need for affordable housing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to work with us, I'm going to put the link in this video and in this chat. I want you guys to click below if you want to schedule a strategy call with any of my team members. You know, Daniel's my right-hand man when it comes to my real estate endeavors here in the office, in our Albuquerque office. And if you want to schedule a free call with Daniel or any of my team, whether this is a repeat video and you're watching this on repeat, I want you guys to comment below, #repeat. And ladies and gentlemen, if you love content just like this, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you're notified anytime I come live or anytime I post a new video, which I post at least 3 a week on YouTube, so you can get the latest and the greatest information of what's happening in our housing market, how to buy land, build houses, and all the strategies behind it. But click the link below, schedule a call with my team. We look forward to working with you. And not only do I look forward to working with you guys, I look forward to solving this housing crisis, or at least being a part of the solution and not part of the problem. And if you want to be a part of something bigger, if you want to be a part of the solution, then click below, schedule a call, and we'll teach you how to buy land, build houses, get wealthy in the process of doing it, and help people all in one. It's a win-win situation. I look forward to seeing you later.